can be. Here I am.
Hey everyone, so in today's video, I'm going to be quickly showing you everything that I got at a Reptile Expo last weekend. Now, it is the first expo that I have ever attended. I got into reptiles in December of 2019, and just a couple months later, pretty much the entire universe shut down due to COVID. So of course, large gatherings like reptile expos were not being held. So this one in June 2022, I was able to attend my first expo. And I got quite a few things because I had been anticipating it for quite a few years. So to start it off, I was really interested in getting some botanicals and other natural items that I could put into my reptile enclosures. As far as the natural elements in my enclosures, as far as I've gotten so far is just using loose substrate like Reptisoil or cocoa fiber with all of my animals. So the first thing that I got, and I'll show you on screen right now, is a pothos, and I put it into my leopard gecko Eloise's tank. The vendor that I bought it from was Species Canada, and they were all pretty confident that I would not kill it, because I did warn them that I am not great at plants. So that is what I picked up. The next thing that I picked out is some frog moss. Now, don't get me wrong, I have used tons of moss before. I've used sphagnum moss many times, both the kind of natural like brown version and admittedly the dyed green version. But I have never had a moss that basically could start growing again, which apparently this can. So I'm hoping that I can use this in my crested geckos enclosure, and maybe my fat tail geckos enclosure, and be able to get a lot of moss in there. If it doesn't grow, that's okay too. I should have enough here to achieve the look that I want, but if it does start to grow, even better, that would be kind of awesome. Now, I got this at Winnipeg Reptiles, which is a standalone reptile store, but they were also the ones who put on the expo, so of course they were there. Now, the next things that I got are just a few fun natural items that I could keep in my enclosure, primarily for decor, but I do think that they're nice enrichment as well. The first thing I got, I have used a couple of them, but I still have one extra here that I will show you, and that is a lotus pod. So a lotus pod basically looks like this. It is just a small little pod, looks like this on the back, but the identifying look is it does have all these holes in the front. I just thought I really liked the look of this. And it did come in a pack of 3, but 2 of them are in an enclosure already. And I'll jump into the next one because I got it from the same place. And that is a apple pod. Now it looks like an egg. I love the look of it in my enclosure. I think it adds like a nice contrast to some of the dark items that are in my enclosures. But it just looks like this. It's a white circle, hollow, has the hole in it. I feel like this is definitely very fragile, so I would definitely be careful with it. And the last thing that I got from that specific vendor is something called a banana stick. I saw these when I was looking at all their other botanicals, and I just had to get them. They are such a weird shape for a stick that I knew I needed it. I just thought it would be such a fun look. So the banana sticks, the lotus pods, and the apple pods, they all were from a vendor called Webs and Scales. Now the next thing that I purchased is another natural item, and this is something that I've had my eye on for a long time, but I just never took the leap. And when I was at the expo, I had the perfect opportunity to do so. So I picked up a cork round. I got one that was a full tunnel shape. So I didn't just get like a half piece. I wanted one that could be doubled as a hide. So I made sure that I got a hollow piece. I really like the natural look of it in the enclosure, so I'm really glad that I picked it up. They had so many different pieces there. So I'm glad I already kind of had an idea of what style I wanted, because it would have been very easy to get overwhelmed and buy them all. The cork piece was again by Winnipeg Reptiles. So the last natural item that I got, I actually forgot to mention when I had filmed this video, and that is this piece of wood here. I'm not entirely positive what this type of wood is, but from a little bit of research, it does sound like it might be a liana vine. It definitely has a vine-like appearance. As you can see, it kind of spirals a little bit. I just think it's a pretty unique type of wood. So I thought that in addition to the banana sticks, I would have some unique wood pieces in my terrarium. And this one was by Winnipeg Reptiles as well. So the last decor item that I picked up at the expo, I also forgot to film, and that one is this large Exoterra hide. I was in need of a large hide, so I did specifically go looking for one at the expo, and this was actually one of the only ones that I could find. But luckily it was pretty much exactly what I was looking for anyway, so it wasn't a problem that it was the only one there. Now the next thing I got is some feeders, and I got those to stock up. But the first thing that I'm going to show you is these black soldier fly larvae from Obie's worms. I always butcher the pronunciation of larvae, whether it's larva, I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those three, but it is the larvae of a black soldier fly. Now, I have gotten these in the past from chain pet stores, but admittedly, when you buy them, you're very hit and miss on whether or not you're just going to buy a container of pupa. So when I found out that they were coming to the expo, I was so excited because they're my fat-tailed gecko's Persephone's favorite feeder, and I knew that I would get some good quality worms that weren't already flies. So I chose to get the medium size so that they wouldn't turn into flies immediately. And I've already fed some to her, and she's very, very happy. So huge recommend to Obie's worms. Now, the next thing that I got, once again from Winnipeg Reptiles, is just some mealworms. This is 1,000 mealworms. I like to get my mealworms in big tubs like this because I go through them a lot. All my reptiles eat them, and you can have them for a really long time before they turn to beetles if you refrigerate them. So that's why I always get a big container. And the last feeder that I decided to get was some butterworms. These I usually give as a treat to my Pac-Man frog or my fat-tailed gecko. Think of waxworms, but larger. It's nice to be able to treat your geckos when you can. And these also, you can extend their life by putting them in the fridge. The butterworms were purchased from a vendor called Freshwater Reptiles. Now, the second last thing before we get to what I deem the most exciting part of the haul, and that is just a new set of tweezers. Just to give a little bit of a hint to the next portion, but I have a pet in quarantine right now, so I needed to get them their own set of tweezers so that I'm not using the same tweezers with an animal that's in quarantine. You want to keep everything separate because when you pick up an animal from an expo, you always kind of run the risk of a few things not being 100% perfect just because of so many other reptiles in close proximity. The tweezers were from Freshwater Reptiles as well, and yes, my hint was not really a hint. I did get another animal at the expo, but I didn't get a gecko. I got a snake! Oh, I'm so excited about that. I got a corn snake, a hypo corn snake from a vendor called Tails and Scales. She is very, very cute. And I wanted one that had black eyes as opposed to kind of the reddish eyes that you can get. Yeah, I'm a snake owner now. You guys on YouTube are the first to know because I have not posted it on anything else yet. I have not posted it on Instagram. I have not posted it on Facebook. Well, I guess the exception of a corn snake group. But anything directly tied to me and my brand, I have not posted it yet. Not even my personal account. So, you guys are special. You're welcome. If you liked this video, then make sure you give it a thumbs up. I do have a haul playlist, which I will post in the iCards for you to check out if you want to. There's many, many years of hauls on there, so you can check out everything I've bought throughout the years. If you like what you see and you want to watch more videos from me, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload. Bye!